right then. No edits, no filter. November 13th, take one. Thanks, Dustin. As you can clearly see and hear, I'm not Tom. I'm Riley Delaney.
And this is
And this is my guest.
Jaden Cole. Jaden.
All right, and I'm Brad.
I'm Haley.
I'm John.
David.
Leo.
I'm Rita.
Bobby.
Dustin.
Carson.
Welcome to No Edits, No Filter. And what do we do on No Edits, Big John?
We talk about autism, sports, movies, and coronavirus.
And which, by the way, Riley? What's the topic?
Thanks for asking, Brad. Today's topic is actually going to be what everybody's view on college. Whether it needs to, whether someone actually needs to go to college, or different ways to approach college.
Grade schools are better.
So, I'll start off. So,
Can
Brad
I just
must-
interrupt you for this?
yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
I am of the belief that grade schools are better because you don't need to work on history, you don't need to work on anything with maths, you just need to figure out the trade and learn it well.
There's trade schools, but
So,
what about people on the autistic spectrum?
that's
Are there
even
are
further.
there any programs out there for us?
Some schools will accommodate it, yes. I don't know of programs outright, but my school was accommodating. Like, I was able to speak to the teacher and like have time to calm down for their issues and such.
I can
Wasn't
actually
often,
think
but-
of a couple schools right off the top of my head that have programs for autistic people.
Yeah, same here.
Would you
One
like to
of
tell
which
us?
is actually Lipscomb,
Yeah.
but we'll get into that program later. But I do want to hear from Haley, who's a traditional student at Lipscomb, in terms of what it's like for her,
The college experience?
the college experience.
Sure, yeah. I've really enjoyed going to college. I think it's been a great experience just getting to know other people from all around the world, and everybody having different majors. And at first I wanted to go to an art school because I'm a graphic design major, but I decided to go somewhere different and choose a different city because I had grown up in Atlanta my whole life, and I think that was a great choice, and I was super excited to get to move to a place where I didn't know anybody and make new friends and meet people with different interests. And I think college, for me at least, I've definitely learned a lot in a lot of my classes and had great professors and met a lot of new people, but I think it's more about the experience and less emphasis on the academic measure for me. But yeah, I don't know, I think I could go into a lot more, but I think I'm interested to hear what Brad has to say about. He has a different experience going to Lipscomb University. I think he could tell us about the IDEAL program, and I know you guys have some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, you're right, Haley. Because of course, me, Jane, and Riley, we were at the IDEAL program, and
We actually all graduated a year apart.
yes, that's
Jaden
right.
and I behind Brad.
Yes. And how it was to me, it was great to see what life is in college. Meet new friends, and like you said, and we took nice classes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And we really have to thank Ideal for showing us that way, and because of that, we're now at where we are with life, I would say.
I completely agree. But I will add the caveat that Ideal is more geared towards lower functioning autistics and Downs kids than it is higher functioning people like myself and Matt,
Who is obviously not here today.
who is not here today, sadly. We miss you, Matt.
That's what's up.
You probably would have had a lot to say, Matt.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh
What would
yeah.
you have changed about it in that scenario? What do you wish Ideal Program had in place that was different, that you felt like you had missed?
I'm actually gonna defer to Jaden on that real quick because I don't have an answer. What do you have to say to Haley's question, Jaden? What do you wish the ideal program had added or not had?
A peer mentor.
That's what we have. But do you wish we had less peer mentors or more? And it was purely up to personal preference too.
I could say we wish we have more peer mentors.
Were you happy with your experience with your peer mentor?
I am.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, is there anything that you would change about the Ideal Program in your experiences?
I don't have an answer to that either, but what I can say is that, I pretty much saw how I viewed it. Getting into the program, it's all about growing up as adults.
Mm-hmm.
From how I've seen it.
So I had a different admittance journey, and I was actually speaking to a former staff member about this yesterday anyway. I kind of had a different admittance journey into the program than anyone else that graduated with Jaden and I looked at I had looked into the program when it first started in 2014, applied and got in, and then deferred until the the residential portion was figured out,
Okay.
and which made me older than everyone else I graduated with, and thus gave me some more experience holding a job, holding a job down instead of just coming right out of high school while holding a job. And the one thing I wish they had changed, the one thing I wish they would change is for those students that they know are somewhat ahead of the rest of the class, have them help the staff person teach
Okay.
what they know, what the staff knows they know.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Have some.
Because they're going to learn more from a peer. Because anyone will learn more from a peer than they will a faculty member.
Mm-hmm.
No, a faculty member would know more.
Yeah,
I think
well,
they would see a different point of view from a peer.
I
Not
guess
that they
that's
would
what I'm
learn
sa-
more.
I guess
but
that's
that
what
they-
I'm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
I
would-
think that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah.
That's a great way to word it, Bobby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's a great suggestion. That's a great way to answer that question, Rory.
Big John,
Uh,
thoughts on college?
uh,
Is it necessary?
well,
Nope.
it's never too late to get more educated. You can live until you're 50 or 80 or something. It's not too late to be educated.
Yes.
You can wait you can wait a big chunk of your life and still be educated.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's awesome.
I want to pivot back to Haley and Brad's points about making friends. And traditionally you've had 4 years, or you have 4 years to make friends, and you can do that in a multitude. You can obviously do that in a multitude of ways, like by finding friends by finding mutual friends in common with someone. Like, for example, I came into Lipscomb knowing someone that we graduated with knew another friend of mine. But other than that, I had no clue that Lipscomb was going to become its own bubble within the bubble of Green Hills. Because as I've progressed through the Ideal program, I kept finding people that knew people I knew. The same person that knew the first person I talked about knew someone else in the Ideal program. But college is, yes, you're there to learn, but you're also there to have fun at the same time. More power to the seniors, and actually all the classes this year, regardless of what college. But what does everyone else have to say about college?
Dave's got
David?
something to say.
Okay, well, originally I wanted to go to college to earn a bachelor's degree because it's something that I want to add to my resume, something that I would hope would widen the odds of getting a higher paying job, a better and higher paying job. Having that bachelor's in my resume, expand my chances there. Now, the problem I see, is choosing the right kind of college. First of all, look for a college that offers a bachelor's degree. In my case, I wanted a bachelor's degree in graphic design. So I looked at different colleges that offer bachelor's degrees, and there were 3 so far. However, none of the 3 worked out for me because they were not equipped to accommodate needs such as my own. It's a matter of the quality of instruction that is being taught there, the quality of the instructors, if there's a tutoring program. The last college that I had did not have a tutoring program, and I was struggling in 1 or 2 of my classes. And I've been pestering the registrar that, I'm struggling in such and such, my grade is suffering, I need a tutor. Unfortunately, there was nothing they could do. And hence, my grade was failing, and it got to where such that I was dismissed from the college. So I think that finding a good college is really hard. It can be really tricky. I really wanted to go to a college that was in Nashville, in state, as opposed to going out of state. Because going out of state would mean that I'd have to give up my regular full-time job, and I didn't want to do that. So there's some pros and cons being weighed. See, I went to a college. Well, first of all, let me back up. I went to Nashville State Community College and earned my associate's degree in visual communications. Several years later, I went to a college which is no longer around now, called International Academy of Design and Technology, IADT. That's gone now. Then I went to NOSI College of Art. That's the the school that I had a lot of difficulty in. And then after that, I went to another school called, just a minute, let me think. What was it? Design Technology Nashville. It was, it's off of Stewart's Ferry Pike. Oh, I forget the name of that one. It's a Nashville branch. It's gone now, so I believe they moved to Atlanta. I think they're headquartered in Pennsylvania, but their main campus is in Atlanta. Design Technology Nashville.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and again, they didn't have a tutor program either, and I had to drop out of that. So, see, I'm sure that there are a lot of fine, better colleges out there that may fit my needs, but unfortunately they're out of town or way out of Nashville.
That must have been difficult.
It was. I've been trying really hard to keep my GPA up.
Yeah, and you're a really hard worker, so.
Yeah.
But you've been making really great designs lately,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been learning a lot in other ways. Did you make any good friends during your college
Oh,
experience?
sure. Yeah, I've made some friends there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I'm a single-minded person with a one-track mind. That is I really wanted to be an honor roll student and hopefully maybe even be a valedictorian.
It's a big goal.
That was my desire. Unfortunately, there were so many obstacles and barriers in the road that kept me from reaching that goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Leah,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on college?
Now that we think about it, people with autism do need to go to college because it takes autistic genes to design vehicles, it takes autistic genes to design computers, it takes autistic genes to design electronics. Plus, there are all kinds of blue-collar jobs that people with autism just won't survive in, like the railroad, because the railroad is really not so predictable for employees, and people with autism don't just have to know the plan, but they have to know the basis for all changes in plan. So they obviously can't work for an airline, they obviously can't work for FedEx. It would be pretty difficult for them to work for a cruise line, honestly. So, a lot of people with autism do need to go to college.
Yeah. But
If you had been in college or currently in college, what was one thing that you could always count on doing no matter what, besides eating and going to sporting events?
That, of course, would be writing good essays.
But then again, what I was saying earlier about choosing a college that offers special needs programs, accommodations. I'm not saying that you may or may not need it, but that's probably one of the first assets in finding a college.
Well, honestly, David, all colleges should be accommodating because of the ADA,
That's true.
because of the Disabilities Act.
Mm-hmm. Right, but either that college is not equipped or they're very short on staff.
Gotcha.
Sure. Yeah.
But what is one thing that you did? What is one thing you do outside of school or coming to the avenue that you can always count on doing with friends?
My friends and I like to spend a lot of time outside, going on walks in nature, we work on art projects together a lot in the film scene, or just, I don't know, just kind of hanging out, spending time together.
Mostly in Enos.
Sometimes, yeah, kind of whatever. Going on hikes, eating food, regular things, silly things. Rita, what do you think about college? What do you think about
I think it's like
education?
college is like different for every person, like regardless of autism or not. Um, like with when I was in high school, we did this program where like colleges would come in, give talks and whatnot, and I was interested in maybe going to an art college. I was looking at one in New York and Maryland, and I could have been working with a college that was partnered with Cartoon Network, but that involves like, there's the big thing of money, and that was my more concern. Not like, oh, I could be working with Cartoon Network. I was more in lines of, this is expensive. I can't do this. So like, and like I think like with college, it's different for everybody. It all depends on what you want to go and learn and major in. Like I had a coworker, once I got out of high school, I worked at a library. She was a English major, and she said it was one of the things she regretted though, like after like she became an English major, because all it did for her was just put her up higher in the food chain in the library industry, where she could have been a professional librarian instead of the book clerk, where we just check out the items to people and reshelf things. She would have been able to run her own programs, teach things at the library, stuff like that. Where, like I do agree, like especially in school itself, there should be more assistance with people on autism, because it's such a variety of a spectrum. Like for some people, their autism might not affect them as much, and then others, it's like it's hard just to get through a single day sometimes. Like whether it's sensory issues or just like a task of like a three-parted task. It could be something that would take an average person like 5 minutes. It could take us like a half hour just to do a three-pointed task. And it's something I do wish that more schools in general would be more open and accepting for people with autism, because I remember having an art class and this teacher was nasty towards me because I couldn't do certain things. And like it was like one of those things, and it was before I even knew I had autism. So thinking like going to college and then like expecting like, oh, my going to high school I thought was awful. So like that also put the fear of, oh, I'm gonna go into college and it might just be as bad. Like I didn't give it the chance. So like it's interesting to look into, but I think it also depends on what you want to look into, like whether it's accounting, business, science, English. I think I said arts. Like it's just a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it should be more accepting towards people with autism, especially like because college is supposed to prepare you for the big world. That's what they teach us in high school. We're preparing you for the big world. But it's like the big world things we still don't know in high school. Like they never taught us about checkbooking. They never taught us about the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to college expecting them to teach you that. And it's like, no, we're just here to teach you how to paint or something like that. But,
Yeah, that's the one thing Ideal does teach you, is
Oh, really?
That.
how to find a job, keep it,
Mhm.
about a checkbook and everything.
That's great. Those are great.
I mean,
points.
Haley can attest to that because she was an in-class mentor.
Yep.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about stuff like that and practice interview skills and things of that nature. But I always wish we had more stuff like that in school. Like I had no idea how to do taxes and just random everyday life things,
Yeah.
how to be an adult, whatever that even means,
Yeah.
But I love those points that you made about the spectrum of autism and how to be more accommodating, things like Dave said. But Bobby, you were a fan of trade school, right?
Yes.
You were saying? Do you have any experience in that, or if you were going to go into a trade school, what would you have a preference of?
For me, I ended up learning computer information technology. So I have gotten a few certificates in that.
Okay.
And these certificates say that I know how to do this job. I am able to work at it. I know what I'm doing.
Is that where you
They
learned?
gave me experience in doing it as well with what we were working on there. So
Okay. That's awesome. What kinds of things did you learn in that? Does it have anything to do with coding, or is that's
Nah.
completely separate?
The only code that you need to learn is a couple of command prompt codes.
Okay.
Um, the majority of it is how to diagnose a computer, how to tell the steps to take when diagnosing, things like that.
Mhm.
Setting up computer networks, security and such.
Did you enjoy your experience?
A fair amount, yes.
Did you make any friends during that process, or?
Some.
Mhm.
Don't talk often, no.
That's great. Did you always have that desire to want to go into trade school after your high school experience? Did you know that you'd prefer that versus a college?
Yes.
And your family was open?
And
to
I would prefer that over college, yes.
That's awesome. I like that.
Justin, what are your thoughts on college?
All I gotta say is that it's like a useful for some, but I would say not everyone is meant for college.
I'd agree. I'd agree with that. And for I was actually in a program like Ideal before I'd even heard of Ideal in Charleston. There was a program like Ideal in Charleston that I was actually a part of for half a semester, and then got asked to leave due to behavioral issues. But I've grown more in the time that I've grown from the time personally from the time I was asked to leave Charleston, from the time that I got re-accepted into Ideal, because in that time I had learned homeschooled, but in that time I had finally gotten my driver's license. And no, or I may have mixed my timeline up, but I just grew so much more personally than I ever did when I was at Charleston, outside of school. So I kind of prepared myself for living on my own while still living in my parents' house.
That's great. That could be like a period of transition for you, and that you could have like some growth in that before getting to come to Ideal.
Well, college may not be for everybody, but I said college may not be for everybody,
That's what I said.
Yeah.
but you can still learn.
Yeah. Learning is a lifelong process.
You can you can flunk out of college and go back.
Yeah,
I think
you
that's,
always can.
oh sorry, I was gonna say, I think that's what I think is really great about this day and age and how the internet has evolved so much, because imagine all like the art programs, if it was back in like Windows 95 days, we wouldn't be able to access it. Like now you can just go on YouTube and say, I want to learn about anatomy, and it's like there's thousands of videos right there at your access. Like, oh, you can learn anatomy this way, or it's, I want to learn how to develop my own game, and it's like there's thousands of videos right there for you. Like, where back then it would be like impossible type of thing to like find out. This is what my dad says all the time too. He's like, you have YouTube, like just watch things on YouTube and you end up learning things that way. But I do think hands-on approach is also good. I think that's another good thing that was good about college or places like a college, is that you get the hands-on approach where you can actually ask the questions and then get the feedback you need and where to improve on and stuff.
Hey,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for your insight into college. I'm gonna let Jaden do the honors of closing us out.
Remember.
of closing this out, Big John.
Okay.
You not know the ending?
No, I just told him the ending.
Big ass taco.
Cut!
Yeah, buddy.